How could 2020 possibly get worse? Some sort of large-scale electrical failure would be the icing on the cake. Oh please not that. Quarantine plus no internet would suck so much. That would be great. Sure, I wouldn't be able to work, but I'd stop getting bombarded with bad news and I'd finally have no excuse not read and exercise more. Diarrhea. Widespread, infectious and without warning. All the toilet paper hoarders, look who's laughing now? All while they wipe their beep lined with explosive diarrhea, confirmation that has spread beyond East Africa, the Middle East to multiple points in Europe, East Asia, and the Americas, permanently threatening the global supply of wheat. Seriously, no one ever talks about stem rust. Don't worry, I have a can of WD-40. I live in L.A. And today I was thinking the universe could truly beep us by finally having the big one strike this summer. But I guess that's just regional and not more awful beep for the entire world. Today is the beginning of hurricane season. It's hurricane season, and wildfire season, and tornado season, a proxy war between any two nations nuclear powers that turns nuclear. More specifically, since everybody's asking, China versus India or the US versus Iran. And finally, American Civil War too. I nominate Vatican City and Monaco for the war. Liechtenstein versus Andorra. Anybody remembers post from 3rd of January? It was something like, first day of New Year WW3 starts, second Australia is on fire, third day Pope hits woman, what will happen fourth, and people were joking what terrible beep will happen, and now it's like worst year since 1930. Oh asterisk. A guy on I remember reading a news article back in December about a new virus spreading in China and thinking that it was going to be local. Not sure if it was about COVID though. The China-India border situation going from a standoff to a full-on shooting war. And then Pakistan gets involved to aid China. Man, it's gonna be a three-way nuke war. Oh jolly. Wait, why is it so cold out there? And thanks to radioactive fallout we all lose. A double pandemic. Double plus ungood. As far as I know, the Earth is still rotating on its axis, so that could, stop? There was an XKCD what-if scenario for this. The long and short of it was a brief period of high winds and tsunamis because of the deceleration. But if the moon was still orbiting, it would get the Earth to start spinning again. Since people are questioning it, it is. And the moon just blew. Well, in the case of my country, Chile, we had massive protests since October. Government handled it pretty bad and our economy crippled. Now with the pandemic, again the government mishandled it and we are having a pretty beep second wave of infections. Only thing that would make things worse would be one of our recurrent earthquakes. Chile is known for having devastating earthquakes every 10 to 15 years. Last big one near the capital was around 10 years ago. If government mishandles it again, our economy may hurt in an irreparable way. Edit Kago mi inbox see. Hey! Another Chilean here. And yeah, that's the worst I can imagine here. I'm not Chilean, but I lived there for a while and it's been hard to see all the issues happening there. A world war? World War V. A war so intense it skips over 3 and 4. #ass portals to oblivion. YouTube Bethesda series in 2020. The return of dragons after centuries. YouTube Rewind. Can't wait to see 2020 YT Rewind, to be honest. Intro starts with Will Smith coughing gah. A massive meteorite hitting the Earth at a time of heightened tensions between India and China, and is mistaken for a nuclear attack, causing a full-on exchange of nukes between the two. Then the US, Pakistan and possibly Russia would get involved, and if Pakistan gets involved, India would launch an attack towards Pakistan, and forgot about the US-Russia conflict. Yeah, it's not gonna go well. Calling it now, the second half of 2020 is gonna be the best comeback in history, starting with a Rocky IV montage. Let's see, how could this happen? Australian fires burn away almost all plants except for a small bush that has randomly mutated to resist wildfire. The bush spreads rapidly to cover the whole continent and bushfires are no longer a thing. Turns out Kobe crash was a ruse so he could do an undercover TV show. Turns out to be the best show ever made. With so much research going into coronavirus, scientists accidentally stumble across a method to cure all types of cancer. As a bonus, it's a non-American company, so it's provided for no profit. Kim turns out to have nearly died but makes full recovery. The near-death experience makes him fundamentally change his outlook on the world, and he makes North Korea an open country that is friendly with the rest of the world. I had to close my eyes and envision this. Life almost seemed peaceful for 2 seconds. Bless you, stranger. We find evidence of alien life, but it's like the assimilating one from the thing. We find alien life. More like alien life finds us. If we were stuck in a 2020 time loop. COVID-20. If pandemics are a once in 100 year thing, there's 1/100th chance another one starts this year. I don't like those odds. Still got second and third waves to come yet. The internet goes down. So far things haven't been that bad for many of us because we still have the most advanced entertainment and communication systems. Humanity has every known available at our fingertips 24/7. Yellowstone. At least for the USA. For my country, Jacob Zuma somehow makes it back. Yellowstone caldera blowing would mess up more than the US. Large portion of the world would be fucked. Yeah, mass refugees from the U.S., not to mention fucked world economy and rapid climate change. Whole world would suffer. Random chimp event. It wasn't chimps, but we did have this last week. Mirror. https archive.org. Web 20,200,000,000,000. Sky. Story. Coronavirus monkeys escape with COVID-19 samples after attacking lab assistant 11 2020. After seeing this post, write that down. Write that down. No kidding, why are we giving 2020 ideas? It's a trick. Send no reply. Space BZedit. Space wasps would be worse. Not sure, but the first 5 months feels like 5 years. Was talking to my wife about Hong Kong protests and Australia wildfires, and it seems like it was a couple of years ago. I'm watching the US to see how the elections are going. That could really give 2020 the cherry on top. We're on like the 6th era of 2020 by now. Remember Trump's impeachment trial way back in the first era of 2020? Holy asterisk. A catastrophic quake on the west coast of the U.S., followed by a Category 5 hurricane that goes up the entire east coast, followed by super shark tornado down the middle. Someone makes time travel and changes the timeline. How do you think we got here? Beep butterfly effect. Harambe's death. Microsoft decides to flex and lock all pirated content on our SaaS, always on spy telemetry boxes. It's an election year. It could get a lot worse. The government taking away more internet privacy. They actually renewed the Patriot Act, meaning they can look through your browser and search history without a warrant. So yes, it got worse. Better reason to use a search engine and browser that doesn't remember that asterisk edit. Shout out to asterisk edit too. And get a VPN. A trustworthy one. Shout out to https net #simple-vpn comparison. You just had to ask, didn't you? You will go down in history as the person who jinxed humanity to annihilation. There will be no recorded history to go down in after an annihilation. We'll be scratching Op's name into the walls of our underground cave dwellings as we slowly drift into extinction. 20 million years later, the beaver folk, the new dominant intelligent beings on the planet, will bat their tails on the floor in excitement at evidence that once other beings walked the earth, and will conclude they died out through lack of damn American Civil War II. Who should we elect to be our Abe Lincoln? I nominate John Cena. We need a buff Abe. The magnetic poles are going to shift. So the compass in my car's rear view mirror will be an accurate jumps out window. 3 ancient men found frozen in a pillar in a cavern, with strange masks made of stone scattered around the place. A man-shaped statue falls to earth, who then immediately joins forces with the blonde vampire with a body like 3 linebackers put together, and has an equally buff psychic partner who freezes time. The saying "it can't get worse." The phrase is taboo. One on Gaia, our construction crew, would always say, "What could possibly go wrong?" just before we were doing something dicey, like moving something heavy, every time. George, just shut up. Coronavirus vaccine goes nationwide and 2 weeks later 99%